On March 27, 1980, two brothers in Texas owned one-third of all the silver on Earth. By that afternoon, they had lost over $1 billion and nearly broke Wall Street with them. This is the story of Nelson Bunker Hunt and William Herbert Hunt, the men who tried to corner an entire metal, who flew tons of silver to Swiss vaults guarded by armed ranch hands, who pushed the price to $50 an ounce and almost got away with it until the rules changed. Their father was H.L. Hunt, a poker player from Arkansas who in 1930 bought the rights to a Texas oil field that turned out to be the largest ever discovered in the United States. By the 1960s, he was one of the wealthiest men alive. When he died in 1974, he left his fortune, billions, to his sons. Three of them matter for this story: Bunker, the strategist; Herbert, the executor; and Lamar, the youngest. We will come back to Lamar. The 1970s were brutal. The Vietnam War, the OPEC oil embargo, inflation hit 14%. The dollar was bleeding value every single year. Bunker Hunt looked at all this and decided paper money was finished. He needed something real. Gold was the obvious choice, but in 1974, owning large amounts of gold was still effectively illegal for Americans. So Bunker turned to silver. Silver was undervalued, industrial, indispensable, and, crucially, almost no one was buying it. At $3 an ounce, he started accumulating. He did not stop for 7 years. By 1979, the Hunt brothers had quietly accumulated over 100 million ounces of silver. The world had no idea how much. They did not trust American vaults, so they chartered private planes and flew silver to vaults in Switzerland, guarded by armed cowboys from their Texas ranch. The price began to move, from $6 to $10 to $20 to $30. Industrial silver became impossible to find. X-ray film became unaffordable. Families melted down their inherited silverware just to sell it. And Tiffany & Company, the legendary jewelry house, took out a full-page advertisement in the New York Times, condemning two Texans by name. January 1980, silver hits $50 an ounce. On paper, the Hunt brothers are sitting on a fortune of over $4 billion. They control roughly one-third of all the privately held silver on Earth. Banks lend them money against their position. Other investors race to copy their bet. Hedge funds scramble to get in before the next move. But there is a problem. The Hunts have not been buying silver with their own cash. They have been borrowing billions of dollars against future contracts. If silver moves the wrong way, even slightly, the entire structure starts to crack, and someone is about to push. On January 21, 1980, the New York Mercantile Exchange, under pressure from regulators, changed its rules. The new rule was simple. Anyone holding large silver positions could no longer buy on margin. They had to put up real cash. For the Hunts, this was catastrophic. Their position was levered to the teeth. They did not have the cash. They needed silver to keep going up, fast, or they would be wiped out. But silver did not keep going up. It started to slip. $45, $40, $35. The Hunts scrambled for liquidity. Banks tightened. Other investors began to sell. The unraveling had begun. March 27, 1980. The day became known as Silver Thursday. Botch Brokerage issued the Hunt brothers a margin call. $100 million. Due immediately. They did not have it. Word leaked onto the floor of the exchange. Within minutes, every trader in New York knew the Hunts were finished. Silver collapsed. In a single afternoon, the price fell from $21 to $10. Half. Gone. Banks faced potential catastrophic losses. The Federal Reserve quietly assembled a $1.1 billion emergency credit line. Not to save the Hunts, to save the system from them. The richest brothers in America had become the largest debtors in financial history. The Hunt brothers were dragged before Congress, sued by Peruvian regulators, fined $10 million each, banned from commodity trading for life. By 1988, Nelson Bunker and William Herbert had filed for personal bankruptcy. The men who once owned a third of the world's silver declared insolvent. But here is the part most people do not know. Remember Lamar, the youngest brother? The one we said we would come back to? While his older brothers were losing billions on silver, Lamar was building something else, a football team. the Kansas City Chiefs. His son Clark runs it today. 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. The lesson the Hunts learned the hardest way possible: the system always wins. Next week, 3 Nobel Prize winners and a hedge fund that nearly broke the global economy. Long-term capital management.